Ati hei wa mauri ora ki te whai au ki te ao mara. He atua, he tūpua, pai Māori. Tuia te rangi e tū nei, tuia te papa e tokoto nei, tuia te here tāngata tihei. Mauri ora. Humbled to MC today because I see a lot of people that I looked up to as a little kid.
So the lens that we're going to have a little bit of a kōrero to you all about today is how we as whānau come into these spaces as kai manaaki, kai tautoko through Indigenous rights and then hāngai tū te tiriti o Waitangi.
In the whare Tāmaki, the tikanga is being refined. Traditional gender roles and responsibilities are being analysed so we may understand the intentions of our ancestors and the heart of our culture while we honour the range of gender identities and expressions amongst us.
What do? Well, it's really to redress wrong. Kaitiaki mana tangata, guardian of the dignity of the person, the mana of the person.
We know that to get the change that we need good data. And so this is where Identify comes in. It's that intersection around young people aged 14 to 26 who are takatapui or rainbow.
So at the heart of it is the breach of Te Tiriti o Waitangi. The Crown failed, and its failure to protect specifically the rights of takatapui. It's a truth and reconciliation moment.
The vision that we have for our whānau and takatapui as a means to take us to another rangituhaha here.
I wanted to close with a saying that Samoans have. It says, "E lei se mea e sili I lo ainga." So nothing takes priority and precedence over your blood ainga. And my brother's very lucky. I'm very lucky because our ainga has unconditional love and unconditional support. But we know as queer people that is not the case for everybody. The ainga, the whānau that you can create of siblings, of sisters and brothers who unconditionally love you, that's what takes precedence and priority for us as queer people. Ngā mihi atu kia koutou, kia ora.
We've had Counting Ourselves on a Project Aotearoa Youth 19 Identify Manalangi last week. Woo, incredible. And not just data but stories. And not just stories but expertise. That's you. I can't wait for the second day of the Kāhui Uenuku, and I'm so privileged to have shared this time with you. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou.
It just should not be this hard to exist. Trans rights are human rights, and the hate that we're seeing, it is from a vocal minority, but you are loved, and I strongly believe that we will move past these times.
How can we collaborate better in ways that centre the voices of those trans people targeted mostly by extremism? So here in Aotearoa, that's trans women. How can we collaborate to counter disinformation directed at trans children and young people's access to gender-affirming healthcare?
Because in all of these groups, these marginalised groups, there's hierarchies. If I'm in a room, raised white, female, wheelchair user, and I'm in the room with a Māori man, who's oppressing who? The answer is it depends on who's talking and what they're saying.
So based on the voices of our elders, we have come up with some recommendations because we are often the people that need to name the human rights that need to be defended in our community, right? And the reality is right now, our elders don't feature in national strategies for older people and services planning, including in aged care. And they're not really featuring right now inside our takatapu and particularly our rainbow community spaces either. Or at least definitely not as much as they want to be.
1986, the homosexual law reform, no one really thought back then that we would get marriage equality and ban conversion therapy. And then we get civil unions, and then we get marriage equality. And personally, fully admire and respect this idea of transformation. But transformation is done by incremental change.
As LGBT people more generally, we need to speak with confidence and kindness and to reach out to build alliances with those who don't understand us. These conversations, more than any act of parliament, more than any policy of any government department, will contribute to the inoculation of a human rights culture that we need in Aotearoa for all of us to thrive.
My marae doesn't have carvings. But for me and many rangatahi, those missing carvings live in the fights our rangatira Tākātāpui have made. By fighting for better, you are helping to rebuild our whare.
I call on the New Zealand government to look at the following: that Section 19 of the Prostitution Reform Act be replaced so that migrant sex workers on temporary visas can have the same rights as New Zealand citizens.
2 years ago when I came out to my mum, she said to me, "You are disrupting my dreams. You are a disruption." 10 years later, she's now the secretary of our board and
into a positive way of disrupting or challenging negative stereotypes and harmful, toxic narratives.
We had some really thoughtful conversations around so many things, and I think one of the things that we've heard, this message that we can't do it by ourselves and we must do it together.